morning from the Fun Recovery Golf Tournament here, the 4th annual charity golf tournament, Harmony and Heroes. Tonight, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling from the Governor's Club. Pleased to be joined by Tennessee Titan Jeffery Simmons here on the show. Jeff, what's going on, man?
Going good, man. Oh, I need the mic.
Oh, you're good.
I mean, you could probably talk loud enough.
Right here, so I should have had this in my hand. But
What's going on?
not much, man. I'm feeling good. Out here for a great call this morning.
Yeah.
With Fun Recovery and Ryan. I've been doing a little work with them for a little bit now. I want to say the last 2 years. And just the work they're doing, for the drug abuse and mental health and things of that nature. So I think they're doing a hell of a job. And this morning, just a start of a great day with their dinner and event tonight. And so hopefully I could come out here and hit a couple golf balls.
Right. Well, because you go from casting the line, you were fishing this weekend to grabbing the club. I mean, this is a quick turnaround for you.
See, they're my two hobbies. Especially golf. I've been trying to pick it up a little more, and fishing is what I love doing, especially all the time. Of course, like I said, I was down there in Miami, the deep sea fishing, and caught 2 sailfish. And my team didn't win, but I had a great time. And now, they're just like I said, this is my second hobby that I've been enjoying doing these last 2 off season. So like I said, hopefully I could. We playing about a lot of houses, so hopefully I could, not busting a window.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, I heard a crash, and I ran to the next hole.
Yeah, exactly.
No doubt about it. Jeff, how's the offseason been for you, man?
Man, it's been great. I've been working my tail off in Dallas. I know you guys hear from a lot of guys like, this is the best I done felt, but, I've been moving. I've been doing a lot of movements, especially footwork stuff. And I say this, like this probably going to year 7, I didn't expect to feel like this. My last 2 off season, I had surgery. I had my ankle cleaned up the last 2 off seasons. So it's like I haven't been able to really lock in on, the small things like my functional movements, my hips, trying to make sure they're functioning, moving the right way, and, taking care of the little things, like the mobility-wise of the nature of the game. And I think, a lot of people, think lifting weights is the thing that we NFL guys do, but the last couple of years, I've been figuring out what's really worked for me. And like me starting off with the functioning movements, making sure that everything is loose. So when I started lifting weights, when I started, doing movements on the football field, that looks so fluid. And, especially this last week, because I trained in Dallas, and, that last week before I left to Miami, I was like, this is the best I done felt in a long time, not being able to, not trying to focus on, I got to rehab this ankle. I got to 6 weeks, I got to sit down because I got to get my ankle cleaned up. So, I'm feeling great. Of course, everybody know I had the elbows last year. That's still a working process. I'm feeling good right now. And I think this past weekend gave me a little treatment by reeling in some fish. So that was good. And
nice.
like I said, that's probably the best I done felt going into, especially off season.
Nice, Jeff.
I don't think a lot of people understand, like, when you first get in the league, like the different stages you got to deal with. The first 3 years is, all right, we figuring this out.
Yep.
4, 5, and 6 is a different phase 2 to where it's a second contract. You're not getting cut. Like goals at this point. And you mentioned that year 7. Like year 7 to I say 10, 11, man, is where you really get like the savvy part. Is that where you're trying to go? Because as you said, you're known as a guy, man, that's going to go down somebody's face and just, hey, you're going to have to deal with me for 60 minutes. Is that a part of your game that you want to strategically get the finesse, the bend, the unpredictability of your position?
Yeah, man. When you have a guy who played in the NFL for 10 years, and my uncle, he been telling me, you finally want to listen to me, You finally want to listen to me. You finally want to get your weight down to what we've been talking about. We talking about my goal, my weight. I tell you guys, like, I don't want to play over 305 this whole season. I want to keep it, from 295 to 300. That's my goal. And, just to, each and every game, maybe you'll see me hit a finesse move or here and there, but I think now I know what team trying to do on me. I know, like, I'm going on year 7. I want to play a long time. I want to be able to, sustain, that high level of playing. So now it's like, how can I switch my game up a little better, a little more, especially throughout the season when I started to figure out teams. And like I said, going on year 7, it's like, there's no sense of just trying to run down people's face. I know I could do that. So now it's like, doing the things that I'm doing right now, especially in my off season, is trying to prepare for that next step. Because like you said, I mean, at this point, I know who I am as a player. Now is what, because I still feel like I got so much more to reach to my highest level of playing. I feel like I haven't met that. So I think at the end of the day, when you can figure out, especially, like I said, having a mentor like my uncle that could show and tell me, like, I've been telling you this for a long time. You finally want to listen to me.
Hate when they write.
I'm like,
Finally grown up.
it's like every time we work out here, it's like, well, I told you so. It's like, I get it. I'm like, like I said, it's good to have that because, like I said, he know my mindset. He know what I really want as a player, and each and every week, I mean, no matter what day it is, he tell me, and this is what get me going. I'd be like, you know what? F this. Come on. I'm tired of talking. Let's work. Yeah. He tell me this right here. He said, I'm still sitting at the table by myself. And he say that my uncle, he had a 10-sack season. I'm like, well, you count the playoff that I had a 10. And he's like, I'm not hearing that. He said, I'm still sitting at the table with 10 sacks in the regular season by myself. And that's been motivating the hell out of me. And, you know, hopefully this year I could meet him at that table.
So to that point, though, this is my offensive line side coming out, so forgive me. All right, you guys can strategically pick where you want to go. Is that another part of your game where you say, you know what, young fellas, y'all handle that first and second down this series. Let me come in and work on third down. Is that a portion of the game where you've thought, because I know your mindset is probably like, I got to be the guy. Yeah. But sometimes being the guys might be letting the young guys go do their thing.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, man, I done talked to the Rock. I done talked to, even when Big T was here, you know, he used to say, man, you playing so many damn snaps. Yeah. And, you know, the thing was, especially as someone like myself, I want to be out there every down. I feel you. Sure. And it's like, when that fourth quarter hit, like, I still try to give my all, but in reality, I don't still have that same get off from that first quarter. So it's like, how can I sustain that? And that's, like I said, even with the training I'm doing, like, that's what I want to get to be able to sustain that. But also, it is smarter to be able to, all right, guys, I just had 2 or 3 series in a row. Y'all go in, I'll be in on third down. And that's one of the things me and Rock talk about as well. And we have to work together more on that. So, but I think at the end of the day, man, like that is going to be my mindset going into the season. How can I, make sure that I'm ready for the fourth quarter? How can I be ready for it even in the third quarter? Because coming out to halftime, it's like, sometimes, it's like, golly, I done played a lot of snaps. Sure. And I think at the end of the day, we know that, it's a team sports. And when you're able to have, complementary football, that's when you maybe could play a little bit less snaps. But, I think at the end of the day, we just have to figure out a good plan for myself and going into Sundays.
With Harold Landry gone, and I know that's a big part you probably miss, and he had been here a long time, as were you. You guys added some pieces. What do you feel about early on with the pieces added, and what more do you guys feel like you need to do up front?
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but me and Draymond Jones trained together coming out, going into the draft. He's a guy that got a lot of energy. He can rush inside and outside. So, it kind of reminds me of that Danico Aldridge. I'm not saying he Danico Aldridge. I hate to compare the players, right? But, when you have someone who can rush on outside and maybe on third down move in, like that's what you want. You want guys who can move around and maybe one play, or like Ramon said, like just to, like Draymond, let me get outside, you come inside. I know because he done played in that inside. Versatility. It was kind of harder telling Harold to go play 3 technique versus a guy like Draymond Jones. So I think at the end of the day, I think we doing a hell of a job with, picking up some pieces. Me and Dan, we train together in Dallas. I see Dan there every day. Dan Moore. I see him every day up there in Dallas. Nice. The same, we was trained with the same athletic trainer guy. So I think we're doing a hell of a job, especially on the defense side. I still don't know what we're going to do in the draft. It'll be interesting, but I really don't know much about Lorenzo, his game, because I really didn't watch Atlanta as much. But from his college, I know the name, and I'm excited to see what he could bring to our defense. But like I said, just imagine if we could get Abdul Carter.
I knew you were gonna. I was gonna let you.
Are you still petitioning for that?
I've been saying they gotta help Jeff.
I was gonna let Jeff.
You ain't said I said it.
Listen, I just go back to that Kansas City game.
Right.
When you have, yes, they have Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, but when you have a dominant defensive line that everyone can win their one-on-one, if you mess around and double me, I got Sweat got a one-on-one, I got my edge guy got one-on-one, they gonna win. So they had 9 sacks. They only blitzed 2 or 3 times in the Super, and that's a Super Bowl.
I know.
Right.
So it's like
Patrick Mahomes is almost like a non-factor.
It don't matter who you got at quarterback. When you got a dominant defensive line, defense win championship. And I'm gonna live by it. I've been saying it since high school.
I respect you for standing on that hill, Jeff. I do.
I've been saying, never mind. I'll tell you what I say off air, okay? But
I know our fans don't like it. I know they be on me pretty hard by saying that. But I think at the end of the day, when you got a great defensive line taking pressure off your quarterback on the other side of the ball, you getting field position.
Yeah.
You can score points.
Yeah.
So.
I conceded though, Jeff. I conceded. Like I'm on the quarterback boat, but I conceded.
It took
get
a
it wrong
while,
now. I mean,
It took a while for me to get there.
So I got to ask you about Cam Ward then, and obviously Quandre Diggs having the family connection to Cam and knowing him and his story. What do you know about Cam, and what do you just like about him as a prospect and him as maybe a future teammate?
Man, listen, I think at the end of the day, when you got guys who can come in and help you win, which look at him, he's a winner. And I watched that pro day. I watched a lot of highlights of his pro day. And of course, I watched him this past season. But I think when you have a quarterback and you have a guy, no matter what position it is, but we talking about Cam right now. You have a guy who, he have swagger. He a competitive guy, a guy who want to win. And I mean, like I say, he's a winner. And of course, Diggs with the whole season, he was like, I told y'all, like all year. He was like, I told y'all.
Diggs and I were scheming that up, Jeff.
But I honestly feel like he's a hell of a player. I'm sure if it's Tennessee, if we take him, or if any other team take him, he's gonna have a lot of success in this league. The same thing with Shador. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right now the 1 or 2 who gonna go first. I think whatever team decide on which one of them quarterbacks, they're gonna get a good quarterback, and you build around them guys, and that's how you win championships in this league. I mean, look at other teams. I mean, Jaden Daniels, you got guys coming out a rookie year balling like that. So we'll see, man.
We'll see.
We're dropped 10 days away. So
I know. I can't believe we're there.
Next Thursday.
yeah. I'm excited to see what we're gonna do, and whoever it may be, I'm going to take them in, and hopefully they come in ready to win some football games.
Absolutely.
He is Jeffery Simmons with us here this morning at the Governor's Club for the Fun Recovery Golf Tournament. Good to see you. Appreciate you sitting down with us.
Appreciate you guys.
Good luck
Man,
out
always
there
an honor.
today, Jeff.
We'll see. Hopefully I
He
can.
says we'll
straight.
see.
Well, listen, hopefully I can stay out these people's homes. I'm not trying to pay for no windows.
They might welcome you
Well,
in.
if we're on the same team, then that'll make 2 of us, for sure. No doubt about it. Jeffery Simmons with us. More RKW coming up on